All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the apostle, and that was a great millstone. Peace and salutation to Yah, and pushing his truth and sincerity. Right, doing a little reading, man, and decided to make a video on this. I'm gonna just entitle it "American Marriage." It's about control and money. Okay. This is Daniel 7:25. It says, "And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until the time and times, and the dividing of times." Now, we know how it do with the time already, so we're gonna go into laws. Okay, like the thing with marriage is the way it's biblically done is once you lay down with a woman, she belongs to you. She's your possession. Okay, that's your woman after you sleep with her, and they supposed to be virgins. Okay, but what Esau done is you can marry this woman, you can divorce her, you can get you another one. You know what I'm saying? You can get you another woman can get another husband. You know what I'm saying? And a man having multiple women is looked down and frowned upon. Okay, but that's how we got down. Think about it. If men are outnumbered 9, 10 to 1, you do the numbers or whatever, and every man had one wife. Now we know the Bible speaks against homosexuality and lesbianism and all that. Is all in one. You know what I'm saying? If every man had one woman, what would all those other women be doing? That's why they were here and putting that abundance of a number. But that's what his devil changed the laws at. Okay, that's not how we supposed to rock. All right, I got this little article. I'm gonna read it. Let me move this. It says, "Did you know what you got into when you got a marriage license from the state? You were tricked into signing over your children to the state, the fruit of marriage." Okay, now I'm gonna just read. It says, "The marriage license, the real truth." It says, "Enlightening conversation with a marriage license bureau. About 15 years ago, my former wife of 26 years filed for divorce. We had 7 children, 5 daughters and 2 sons. Our youngest at the time, our second son was 5 years old. At the time, I prepared a counterclaim to petition the dissolution her attorney filed in domestic relations. Okay, I met one afternoon with the head of Maricopa County Superior Court Marriage License Bureau in downtown Phoenix. The Marriage License Bureau was headed by a young woman about 25. I asked her to explain to me the general and statutory implications of the marriage license. She was very cooperative and called in an assistance, a tall black man who at the time was working on an operations manual for internal department use. She deferred for most technical explanations to her assistant. He walked through the technicalities of the marriage license as it operates in Arizona. He mentioned that the marriage license is pretty much the same in any of the states, but there are differences. One significant difference he mentioned was that in Arizona, it's one of the 8 western states that are community property states. The states are common law states, including Utah, with the exceptions of Louisiana, which is a Napoleonic Code state. Napoleonic Napoleon, Napoleon, I can't pronounce it. I'm gonna just say Napoleonic Code State. He then explained some of the technicalities of the marriage license. He said, first of all, the marriage license is a secular contract between the parties and the state. The state is the principal party in that secular contract. The husband and wife are the secondary parties, secondary or inferior parties. The secular contract is a three-way contract between the state as principal and the husband and wife as the other two legs of the contract. He said, in the traditional sense, a marriage is a covenant between the husband and the wife and God. But in secular contract, with the state references to God, is a dotted line and not officially considered included in the secular contract at all. Okay? He said, if the husband and wife wish to include God as a party, go look at that shit, in their marriage, that is a dotted line. They will have to add in their own minds the state's marriage license is strictly secular. He said further that what he meant by the relationship to God being a dotted line meant the state regards any mention of God is irrelevant, even meaningless. So they'll throw some shit up when you get married, stating some shit like so by the powers invested in me, given by God, that you are now husband and wife. That shit don't mean shit. It make it look good. You know what I'm saying? To these fucking idiots. Alright? It says, in this description of the marriage license contract, the related one other dotted line, he said, in the traditional religious context, marriage was a covenant between the husband and the wife and God, with the husband and wife joined as one. This is not the case in the secular realm of the state's marriage license contract. The state is the principal or dominant party. The husband and wife are merely contractually joined as business partners. Partners not in any religious union. They may even be considered, he said, connected to each other by another dotted line. Bro, this is some bullshit. Like, you just oh man. And this is like what it's basically saying. The state, the primary party. So everything you do when you file for income tax, when you file for home loans, everything goes through the government. The husband is secondary party, the wife the secondary party. And then you have so-called God. Okay? He further mentioned that this religious overtone is recognized by the state by requiring that the marriage must be solemnized either by the state official or by a minister of religion that has been deputized. So they have to know by the state to perform the marriage ceremony and make a return of the signed executed marriage license by the state. Okay, so he's involved. The preacher has to be involved. You have to go to the government or the state and get a marriage license and get it signed by the damn preacher. And he got to sign it. You got to take it back to them. Okay, he says, again, he emphasized that marriage is a strictly secular relationship so far as the state is concerned, and because it is looked upon as a privilege business enterprise. Various tax advantages and other political privileges have become attached to the marriage license contract that have nothing at all to do with marriage as a religious covenant or bond between God and a man and a woman. It's all about money. Okay? It says, by way of reference, if you would like to read a legal treatise on marriage, one of the best is Principles of Community Property by William Defanac, whatever. At the offset, he explains that community property law descends from Roman civil law through the Spanish Code 600 AD, written by the Spanish juris consuls. In the civil law, the marriage is considered to be a for-profit venture or profit-making venture, even though it may never actually produce and profit in operation. And as the wife goes out to the local market to purchase food, stuffs, and other supplies for the marriage household, she is replenishing the stocks of the businesses. To restate, in the civil law, the marriage is considered to be a business venture, that is, a for-profit business venture. Moreover, the children come into the marriage household. The business venture is considered to have borne fruit. So everything is basically about money. Everything is about money. Okay. It says, now back to, let me see if I can move this down. Back to the explanation by the Maricopa County Supreme Court Marriage Bureau's administrative assistant. He went on to explain that every contract must have consideration. The state offers consideration in the form of an actual license itself. The piece of paper that the certificate of marriage, the other part of consideration by the state, is the privilege to be regulated by statute. He added that this privilege to be regulated by statutes include all related statutes and all court cases as they are ruled on by the courts, and all statutes and regulations into the future until years follow the commencement of the marriage. He said, in a way, the marriage license contract is a dynamic or flexible, ever-changing contract as time goes along, even though the husband and wife didn't realize that. So it's a lot of trickery in it. My thought on this is, can it really be considered a true contract as one becomes aware of the failure by the state to make disclosure of the items and conditions? Trickery. That's what Esau is. A big bag of fucking tricks. Okay? A contract must be entered into knowingly, intelligently, intentionally, and with full informed consent. Otherwise, technically, there is no contract. So they just told you they could change whatever the fuck they want to change up on you. All right? It says another way to look at the marriage license contract with the state is as a contract of adhesion. A contract between two desperate, unequal parties, again, a flawed contract. Such a contract with the state is said to be a specific performance contract as to privileges, duties, and responsibilities that attach. So it's things they put in the contract that you may not know that's in there, especially being a man. All right. It says consideration on the part of the husband and wife is the actual fee paid and the implied agreement to be subject to the state statute rules and regulations in all cases ruled on related to the law to marriage law, family law, children, and property. He emphasized that this contractual consideration by the bride and groom places themselves in a definite and defined by law position inferior and subject to the state. So you belong to the state after you get married. Okay? He commented that very few people realize this. So you are property. Once you sign that marriage shit in the courthouse, if you get married through a so-called preacher or whatever, your ass belongs to the fucking state or the government. You belong to them and everything you do, because then all your business. Every time you sign up for something, well, he's married to such and such. They have like all kind of ties on you. Okay? He also said it is very important to understand that children born to the marriage are considered by law the contract bearing fruit, meaning the children primarily belong to the fucking state, bro. That's bullshit. Even though the law never comes out and says it in so many words. But we already knew this. Your fucking kids belong to the fucking state. If they wanted to bust in your house and take your kids, they can sign. If you so-called married, or even if you're not married, they can fucking do it. Fucking bullshit. In this regard, children born to the contract regarded as the contract bearing fruit, and that's what they call it, bearing fruit. So by you being married under this contract, you signed your life away, and your fruits from you being a possession to the state belong to, they already signed a contract because they're a piece of you. Wow. The contract bearing fruit, he said it is vitally important for parents to understand two doctrines that become established in the United States during the 1930s. The first is the doctrine of parentis patria. The second is the doctrines of loco parentis. Okay, parentis patria means literally the parents of the county or to the state. It more bluntly, the state is the undisclosed true parents. Wow. The state is the parent of your fucking kids. That's where you get food stamps. That's when you can sign up for government assistance and shit. You know what I'm saying? Then the man get out the house. See, it's all a big game with Esau, bruh. It says, in the 1930s Supreme Court case states that parents have no property right to their children and have custody to their children during good behavior at the sufferance of the state. Wow. This means that the parents may raise their children and maintain custody of their children as long as they don't offend the state. But if they, in some manner, displease the state can step in at any time to exercise its superior status and take custody and control of its children. The parents are only conditional caretakers. Man, this devil gotta go, bruh. Thus, the doctrine in loco parentis. He also added a few more technical details. The marriage license is an ongoing contractual relationship between within the state. Technically, the marriage license is a business license allowing the husband and wife, in the name of the marriage, to enter into contracts with third parties and contract mortgages and debts. Look at that. Okay. Okay, let me see. Mortgages and debts. They can get car loans, house mortgages, and installment debts in the name of the marriage, because it is not only a secular enterprise, but it is looked upon by the state as privileged business enterprises, as well as a for-profit business enterprise. The marriage contract acquires property throughout its experience, and over time, it is hoped increases in value. So you get married, you belong to the state, and then your fruits that comes from you don't even belong to yourself once you get married and you sign up with this fucking devil, bruh. Fuck marriage, buy the fucking courthouse and all that shit. Okay, this is the last one. All right, I'm gonna start another video.